Aigis is one of the strongest characters in Ultimax, though I definitely would not recommend her as a first character pick. Her strength is gated by a somewhat high skill barrier. See, Aigis' gimmick is her mode change. Orgia mode stance switch transforms her from a dominant zoning / counter zoning character to an overpowering mixed machine of death that can run a vortex of high-low cross-ups to break even the best defenses. The skill barrier here isn't just execution, by the way. Orgia mode is limited by a resource meter, and some of her attacks use bullets, which are also limited by another resource meter. So keeping track of all that, in addition to health, super, persona cards, burst, and any other gimmicks the opponent is coming in with, can be a lot to manage. It requires high amounts of game sense just to be comfortable, and then you gotta make sure you execute properly. Then again, you don't have to be a master of the game just to have fun, and if you get a few of the tricks I show you in here down pat, you can still have a great time even without thinking too much about avoiding burnout mode and running out of bullets. For pros and cons, Aigis gets really good damage even off the basic stuff, and it still leads into good mix-up opportunities. Encountering burst is normally an advanced technique that most players never bother to explore, but Aigis has a ton of built-in burst safety just based off how her best combo routes work. Not only does Aigis have great presence in the neutral game due to her zoning ability, the movement enhancements that you get from Orgia mode allow her to approach from pretty unconventional angles, and her array of strong air attacks gives you a fairly risk-free approach on opponents who would otherwise be good enough to stuff you out with an anti-air. Long matches are your kryptonite. Once you run out of ammo, a lot of your moves lose their punch and your core strategy takes a pretty big hit. Likewise with getting overheated, Orgia mode is half the character, and losing it for a little bit means your pressure goes totally out the window, causing you to try to stall out until it comes back, looping back into the problem of running out of bullets, which further weakens you and keeps you disadvantaged even if you manage to survive until Orgia mode comes back. You can get the full rundown of Aigis' moves on the Dust Loop page, but I'll give you the key points. Aigis' basic attacks have a strong emphasis on pressure. They're stubby and have a fair bit of recovery, so whiffing them is very bad, but if they land, you can get some good staggers and jump cancels in. Crouch B uses bullets and covers a ton of space, but it isn't necessarily as good of an anti-air button as the standard Crouch Bs in the game, since they can bait it with an air block. Stand B has some funky properties and it has some interesting uses, but it's mainly good for block pressure and combos. Sweep is good, has very good range. The C persona attacks all cover tons of space, allowing Aigis to dominate the mid-range with strikes to bully the opponent and help create openings for your approach. The jumping C attacks are very strong, some of the strongest in the game in fact. They can be leveraged just right to be pretty much unstoppable. You pretty much never want to use Crouch D, but Standing D is great. It puts up a counterattack shield with your persona that when hit, charges forward, giving you a totally free approach to start running your offense. Aigis DP is kind of average. True invincibility, but it has some hitbox weaknesses vertically. The key part is that it gives you an instant mode change. All of her base form skills are primarily zoning tools. Gatling Blast is great for quickly punishing from full screen and robbing persona cards. Vulcan Cannon doubles as a movement option, and you can also hold down the attack button to descend. The Radical Cannon Blast can be detonated early. This is a rarer neutral tool, but it has its moments where it can be very useful. Then we've got the meat and potatoes of the character, Mode Change. Mode Change shifts you in and out of Orgia mode. The A and B version have different uses. B is faster and goes up higher, which can be safer in some instances or enable certain mix-ups, but the B mode change comes with a penalty when you exit Orgia mode, putting you in overheat with half of the bar needing to recover. SB is of course your best all around in terms of speed and usefulness, but it costs meter. Once you're in Orgia, you have access to more skills and movement options. Dashing now becomes boosting, you can hover, enabling flight cancels, and you get a command air dash. You also get the Megiddo Fire and Pandora missile skill attacks. This is where Aigis' skill ceiling is opened up completely and the options become near limitless. We'll touch on just a few ways to leverage these skills in a bit. The Goddess Shield Super is your go-to super for ending rounds. The Air Super is really situational and you'll only be using that to get cute and style on people. But the Awaken Super is very good. Can be utilized as one of the best reversals in the game as well as cashing out for high damage. Extreme Orgia mode is the final super, and that's a can of worms that's best left unopened for this guide. With Aigis, your combo routing is going to be a bit more complicated than most characters. You have the standard factors to consider like opponent health and how much super meter you have. Then you have to consider Aigis' resources. Do you need to end the combo in a mode change to go into Orgia for pressure? Are you in Orgia mode already? Then you have access to Megiddo, which is a hugely important combo piece. Is Orgia mode low and you need to end it during the combo to avoid overheating? Do you not have the bullets to use a certain move that makes this combo work? Like I mentioned before, this all requires solid situational adjustments due to how many things you have to think about at any given time. So to get started, a simple combo into Orgia mode. After this, you can get a mix-up with a built-in safe jump option by dashing out of the mode change. The air dash in Orgia requires a little bit of fine control by holding back right before you attack, so that you can keep the right positioning at certain distances. In the corner, you can tack on some Persona normals into the combo instead of sweeping to get a Megiddo after the mode change and still get a safe jump pressure setup. It does require you to walk a little bit underneath them as they're falling to keep them in the corner, so just be mindful of that and jump as soon as they're about to hit the ground and you can get the safe jump off. And if you manage to land a hit off that safe jump mix-up, you can lead into this Orgia mode combo with the Megiddo after sweep. The mortar has to come out pretty quickly after the Megiddo, but other than that, pretty easy combo and just be patient to time the safe jump. This grounded extension of sweep into Megiddo can be used anytime you can confirm into sweep while in Orgia mode. If you're already in Orgia mode and low on meter and want to create some space to zone them out so you can recharge, you can smack them with a standing C into mode change. There are more sophisticated methods of gaining Orgia meter back during combos, but just rely on this for now. For the next combos, we're going to step it up just a little bit. Learning these should prep you to explore the higher difficulty combos when you're ready. We've used the Megiddo extension already. Jumping C is one of your most powerful attacks, and being able to convert off it will make you very scary in real matches. This air combo staircase will be a common route in advanced combos, so here's a jumping C combo with Megiddo that gets you familiar enough with it. The staircase is very height dependent, especially with the longer combos. You can make sure you get the height by watching or listening for the big explosion in Megiddo, then volleyballing the opponent back up with crouch B shots right before they hit the ground. Then we have sweep starter combos in Orgia mode. Off sweep, you can dash cancel into mix-ups, giving you a great pressure option. If the sweep hits, you can confirm that into jumping B off the air dash cancel. Then jumping C, land, standing B, and utilize the Megiddo into staircase ender from before. And finally, a common combo extender is SB Megiddo. You can get a little taste of that here to wrap up the basic combos before you delve into the flashier stuff out there. With this combo, you have enough time after knockdown to go for a safe jump overhead, fake overhead into low, low into overhead mix-up, lots of options and lots of layers. For the game plan, I want you to have one primary focus: maximize Orgia mode. You want to safely get into Orgia mode as soon as possible when the game starts so you can open up all of your tools, and then you gotta learn to manage that meter properly. If you can maximize the time spent in Orgia on your terms and minimize situations like getting comboed or zoned out while in Orgia and losing meter for free, then you'll be a force. Don't focus too much on the bullets at first, that'll come with time. Going low on bullets is bad, but mismanaging your meter into overheating is much worse. So, to begin, what you can do to sneak in free mode changes is simple. Crouching B and down down A. Stops approaching opponents, puts bullets on the screen to eat space, and you get into Orgia with the space to define how you want to engage. Orgia's movement is unlike any other characters in the game, so unless the opponent has labbed against Aigis a lot, they won't have enough answers for all the angles that you can get in with. Some matchups won't be so simple though. Against certain characters with moves that can get around your tools, it'll be hard to get free mode changes, and even if you do, some characters can easily stall out your forward momentum and drain your time limit. So for these, you'll need some more patience to get in without Orgia and exploit the typically poor close range defense that zoners have in order to secure your mode change and follow up pressure off of knockdowns. And speaking of pressure, a lot of your close range stuff outside of Orgia mode will incorporate staggering your basic A attacks. But Orgia mode lets you torment them with high lows that are pretty much impossible to block, so any opponent that lets you run pressure for free is guaranteed to get hit. And the basic gist is that you run this until they die. Easy. Now, when you're not winning the game, things are a little different. You have good defensive options in the neutral game even when you're in tight spots. DP is good horizontally, crouching B can blow up a lot of aerial setups that characters have and let you convert into damage, or Geo mode backdash defensively actually takes you airborne with some invincibility frames, and few characters can really mess with you in the sky like that. Aigis is just too dominant up top. And with that, you should be ready to get some reps in against real opponents and slowly build towards the more intricate strategies. Once you've got the groundwork laid, you can delve into the wonderful world of Aigis combo routes, where you'll find a dizzying amount of extension and ender possibilities off even the most unorthodox confirms. So have fun.